I just tried to play the game of my career and then lost again. Okay, and guess what? Here we go. Let's have a look. I'm white. D4. I'm enjoying playing D4. I've lost to this player now twice. Sort of similar to other openings, isn't it, Dave? DC5. This is a new move. Now I'm quite prepared to give my opponent, which is, I remember my friend in Dunedin who would be saying, yeah, give the exchange up. Because if black now receives the exchange, it's not going to be very good middle game, but good end game, but not very good middle game. And we're in the middle game still slightly, and this knight isn't the greatest piece on the planet. And this diagonal, look at this diagonal. And so if black now captures this rook a1, yes, okay, it's material gain, but this after queen a1 and bishop h6 and even d6 maybe, and bishop d5 check, blah, 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 sort of things, then it wouldn't be very good. And also this bishop on h6, as soon as it goes to h6, it threatens in general, usual cases, the rook f8, which other than queen g7 checkmate as well. So if white opts for that, which I probably wouldn't, because if the rook moves, then we got queen g7 checkmate. So we got mainly f6. So I'm just trying to show you this game, and so I'm going to move on. I've already had an outtake. Time is somewhat more than just one, because I was actually just going off topic here, I was going to bring you a position at the end. I've only played about 3 games or so today. A lovely, beautiful, sunny day here in Christchurch, New Zealand. And it's about, what time is it? 10:30 almost, touching 10:30. And so I was going to talk to you about the 2 simple things in in-game chess, because otherwise in-games can be quite slight. If your opponent's got 2 pawns up and a rook and pawn in-game, if you know what you're doing, it's a draw still. Even if they're connected past pawns, 2 against 0 pawns, that's a draw. If you keep your rook here and your king there, then it's a draw. I just look at it and go, what is it? I'd be trying to win with the rook versus and the king versus the king and rook and 2 pawns. But it's all about scheming and pawn hunting the in-game. Simple. Those sorts of things are simple, but very, very difficult, the technical parts of it. So I'm just telling you what I was going to bring you today. Yes, I'm bringing you this because, and I really, really appreciate you watching, whether you're a subscriber or a viewer or just a passerby. I'm happy that you've checked in and having a look at what we're doing here. I'm trying to do what I started off doing nearly 6 years ago here on this wonderful YouTube planet. So anyway, moving on with the game, here it goes. Otherwise I get complaints from my favourite woman friend. So b5, and this always offers David d6. Every day of the year it offers David to play d6. Now maybe my impetuism isn't very good. Maybe I should just what? Oh, I don't know. It's not that easy, but I do play d6 because this is feeble and obvious and everything like that. But I'm also entertained by de7, and this knight here is hanging, but at the same time my pawn's hanging and my rook's hanging for capture. But I'm not too worried about it because, as I was saying before, and I got rudely interrupted by myself because I went on another train of thought, or whatever it's called. My friend in Dunedin would be going, ha ha ha, I will play this move. I will sacrifice my rook. Ha 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 ha. And he's been behind the scenes in some interviews on this chess channel that I operate here for you. So anyway, moving on. D6 is fireworks, isn't it, really, this position for a 3-minute game. That's why the result is the result. Bishop b7. My opponent, on the other hand, is playing really, really well. Okay, that's all there is to it. My opponent is playing really, really well. Now, if I had my bishop here now, let's say I had that, then I've just got bishop takes knight and game over, because after queen takes, what else? Then we have bishop b7, don't we? So, just fantasy chess. Fantasy chess. Just thinking outside the square, which is really, really important. In life, it's very important too. It's very good to think outside the square. So here we have DE7. And remember, I'm still trying to play the game of my career. Queen E7. Now, maybe, oh no, what next? It's too much, as one player said. To me, it was too much for a bullet game to think of all these things that are going on. Look, I thought this was going somewhere. Knight F4, Knight F4. Now, this is really being like a wasp, isn't it? Where's the queen go? She goes F6. Of course, because now we're threatened with all sorts of things. I could probably play knight. I can't play knight d5. I'd like to, but I can't. I'd play bishop f8. Chicken. Yeah, I know. Chicken. Queen a1. And here I went bishop g7. Queen g7. Can I find any exercises here? What would you play now? That's an exercise. What would you play now? You probably find a better move than I do. But it's kind of like very tentative, isn't it? I found a move that can you think of the move I'm thinking of? Huh? No? Yeah, of course you can. Can you think of the move I'm thinking of? I'm thinking of this move, okay? I'm thinking of knight d5 and bc4. This is not very good for my opponent, because my opponent's going, no, I wouldn't play that. bc4, knight c4. Then I've got knight e7 check, bishop b7, taking the rook, and I've got this knight. These are fantasy lines. So bishop b7, knight b7. Now I have to come up with a move. Now, queen d5 was my main candidate move. Get in there, boys. Get in behind. But then I thought, then the rook goes to b8, maybe. Well, it's going to have to. Or maybe black's got other ideas. And so actually, my move, my candidate move was queen d5. Yeah. And guess what I did? I did queen d7. I didn't even notice that my opponent would play, or had the opportunity to play something different there. So if I'd played queen d5, which was my actual impulse move to play, then my opponent would not have their next move. So you'll see what I mean. So I played queen d7, and then my opponent played f5. What else? See? So if I'd gone queen d5, then my opponent would have had to do something about knight and rook. Okay? But because I decided to, I know better. Okay, I know better. I know better. I just tried to play the game of my career and then lost again. Okay, now this is why I lost again. This is one of the things I know about in chess, that when I see, or you see, the first move, it's usually the right move for you to play, or maybe the right move to play. Because queen d5 is better than what I played as queen d7. So if I'd played queen d5, then there's no f5, is there? No f5, no f6, no f5. There's no protection of the queen to the knight on b7, which happened in the game, which was a bit annoying, actually. And I thought, oh, yeah. And I thought I should have played queen d5. It's better. I think that probably rook b8 or so is about forced, but it's not exactly clear where to from here anyway. So that's possibly why I turned it down, but I don't know. It's not very good, is it? Here's queen g7 is electrically defending the knight on b7. One of the things that are really good about chess, isn't it? Now, if this was a rook here on f8, then I could just go queen g7, knight e6. But I'm running very short of time. I've got 21 seconds, and my opponent's got 1 minute and 31 seconds. And I'm going, no wonder I've already lost to this opponent. So here's queen d5. Oh, it's gone to where I was meant to go the first time. Now, this is still quite reasonable, isn't it? But rook e8. Oh. So the only thing I've got really here now is I could go, oh, hang on. I could go rook e1, but I went queen d5. Now here's all about rook and pawn endgames. So that's what I'm really here for. No, not really, but how do we go from here? What do? We've got the rook in front of the truck. We'll take that pawn on c5, and black opts for the a2 pawn, and king g2, a preventative move, and here is rook check. Watch out, your king is attacked. h4, and then if king h5, then maybe rook h7 check, and we've both got a pass pawn. And you can see that here is, I'm pushing the keyboard. Can you hear me? I'm pushing the keyboard. There's no more moves. That's where I lost on time. You can see the time down the bottom. I think my opponent still had 52 seconds left to play. Oh, no. It was too interesting. Don't try to play the game of your career in 3-minute chess. That's the moral of the story. Bye for now.